The great palace of Zyrath was carved into the side of a mountain, its towers wrapped in molten veins of crystal that glowed like fire at dusk. Inside, the air trembled with heat and smoke. It wasn't just the lava rivers flowing beneath the halls. It was the Emperor's children, or rather, his dragonlings. 2 baby dragons, each the size of ponies, lurked in the royal nursery. Their scales gleamed like living jewels, one deep crimson, the other cobalt blue, and their tiny horns were already sharp enough to pierce steel. Though barely a month old, their breath could melt stone, and their cries shook the palace walls. They were adorable, yes, but they were also terrifying, and that was the problem. Every caretaker, every royal nursemaid, every alien attendant the Emperor hired had fled in terror within hours. Some left with scorched eyebrows, others with tails singed or clothing still smoking. One particularly unlucky candidate had been chased halfway through the capital by the playful, fire-spitting pair. No one lasted until a human arrived. Her name was Clara Hayes, a nurse from Earth. She hadn't planned on working for alien royalty. She just signed up for an interstellar cultural exchange program, hoping to see more of the galaxy. Instead, she was marched into a hall of anxious advisors and an emperor who loomed like a living mountain of scales and armor. "You are small," the emperor rumbled, his voice echoing like a volcano's growl. "And fragile. Why should I trust you with my children?" Clara straightened her plain white uniform and met his blazing eyes. "Because, Your Majesty, no matter how scary they are, they're still just kids." The court erupted in shocked murmurs. To call the Emperor's heirs kids was unthinkable. But instead of crushing her for insolence, the Emperor studied her closely. Perhaps, in her boldness, he saw something different. So, Clara was led to the nursery. The moment she entered, the baby dragons lifted their heads. Their eyes glowed like molten suns, and their nostrils flared with heat. Then, in unison, they hissed. The alien attendants outside the door flinched, expecting Clara to bolt. But she didn't. She simply smiled, crouched down, and, without hesitation, pulled something out her bag. A red rubber ball. The dragons blinked. With a playful toss, Clara bounced the ball across the glowing floor. The crimson dragonling cocked its head, then leapt after it with a clumsy flap of wings. The blue one gave a delighted squeal, half roar, half laugh, and pounced after its sibling. Instead of breathing fire, they were suddenly playing. From that moment, the palace knew this human was different. Clara invented games. She tied strong cords into knots and let the dragonlings unravel them with their claws. She filled metal bowls with icy water and floated treats inside, making them fish with their snouts. She sang to them, not alien lullabies, but earth nursery songs, and, strangely, the dragonlings calmed. Her greatest trick, though, was peanut butter. She had brought a jar from Earth, a comfort food from home. When the dragonlings grew restless or dangerously aggressive, she spread a little onto steel spoons. The dragons loved it. Their sharp teeth gnawed and licked until they were too busy to cause chaos. The Emperor watched in disbelief. Where others had run, this fragile human had stayed. Where others feared, she laughed. His children, who had nearly burned down the palace, now curled around Clara like kittens, their scales shimmering as they purred in contentment. The court didn't know what to think. Some whispered it was witchcraft. Others claimed humans had a strange magic of their own. But the Emperor only said, "She understands them." And indeed, Clara did. One night, when storms rattled the mountain palace, the dragonlings grew frightened. Their cries shook the walls, sparks flying from their jaws. Servants panicked, running for safety. But Clara simply climbed into their enormous nest, nestling herself between the 2 trembling beasts. "Shoo," she whispered, stroking their warm scales. "It's just thunder. On my world, kids used to crawl into bed when they were scared. I'll stay right here with you." The dragons calmed, wrapping their tails around her, their fiery breath softening into rhythmic snores. By morning, the Emperor himself found the sight. The great heirs of his empire curled protectively around a sleeping human, as though she belonged there. His advisors urged him to replace her with someone stronger, someone of their own kind. But the emperor silenced them. Strength is not always fire and steel, he said quietly. Sometimes it is gentleness. From then on, Clara was more than a nurse. She became part of the imperial family. She raised the dragonlings as if they were her own, teaching them not just to breathe fire, but when not to. She taught them laughter, patience, and even games that made them smarter. And as they grew, the dragonlings would defend her fiercely. Once, when an arrogant noble tried to insult Clara as the emperor's fragile pet, the young crimson dragon bared its teeth and growled, "She is ours. Touch her and burn." The court never questioned her place again. Years later, when the dragonlings grew into mighty beasts, the emperor would tell the story to visitors. How every alien nursemaid had failed, until a human came with nothing but a bag of toys, a jar of peanut butter, and a stubborn heart. And how that was enough, because humans, strange as they were, had a gift no empire could replicate. They could tame fire with kindness. And in that, the emperor's heirs found not just a nurse, but a mother.